So I was actually reading an article this morning by Wired, so take this as you will. But the article was talking about Elden Ring, and it was saying like Elden Ring, I think it was titled like Elden Ring is too hard or something like that.
Okay, so am I.
And jump. And basically this guy was saying, he went in this whole article saying like he tried playing Elden Ring and he kept dying. He died like 5 times in the first 30 minutes of the game. And he was criticizing Elden Ring for not putting an easy mode on the game.
Right? I've seen that a lot. People get really mad about this idea back and forth about an easy mode.
Well, and he went on to say like, well, I'm a father of a young child who doesn't have a lot of times to play video games.
Got it.
And I just want to sit down and like enjoy a video game. And he was saying, but with all the hype around Elden Ring, I wanted to be in on the experience of this.
Then you shouldn't have had a kid.
He's like, I wanted to be in on the experience of this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's too hard and too difficult for me. So we should do an easy mode. And I was kind of like, yeah, sure, but that's not the game. Like, Elden Ring is not a game that's easy.
Right.
That's the point. You know, it's like, I get the argument of saying, like, well, I don't really have a lot of time to play video games. But then here's my counter argument. Should we sit there and be like, well, let's make Skyrim have a 20-hour edition for the fathers that don't have time to game?
Right.
Should we make like a shortened edition of the story so you can play the game? And it's like, why do we have to cater games so that they can be played by everybody?
This is going to sound silly, but like, I work, I don't know, minimum 60-hour weeks every week.
Yeah.
I would say you go back and forth, like on easy seasons of your work, probably 30 hours, and on hard seasons like this, what are you working this week? Like probably 60, 70 hours?
Something like that.
So do you feel like the Batman is 3 hours long? Do you think that we should release a hour Cliff Notes edition because you don't have time to go to the theater?
No.
Or should you just wait till you have time?
I think you should just wait till you have time.
I'm saying this to myself too, by the way, because like, yeah, it sucks when you don't have time for something. I literally have that all the time.
Right.
I haven't gotten to Peacemaker yet. And that's not like to shit on people.
Or Boba Fett.
Yeah, or Boba Fett. And it's not to shit on people who have. It's just at the time of recording this, I haven't yet, okay?
Right.
That doesn't mean they need to take those things and make them way smaller or more accessible to me. You know, it's the same thing too, like, this argument goes all over the place. So, like, that guy, that dad, should all video games be free for the people who don't have the money accessibility to buy them too?
Right, it's like, how far do we go?
That's what I was going to ask, by the way. There's just some things where life's not fair.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be. It would be amazing if it was. If, like, we lived in a utopia, all video games were free.
Yeah.
Everyone had shitloads of free time, all this stuff. Amazing. And that doesn't mean that, like, if the problem was all video games were inaccessible to this guy, I'd actually agree with him.
Right.
Like, if every video game was this, that's stupid. Because, like, there should be games that are available to that guy. Why doesn't he play Telltale games?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he play Call of Duty? Like, in an hour a night, you can play quite a bit of Call of Duty.
Right.
Like, multiple matches.
You could play, like, probably 6-7 matches.
Or you could
play an hour.
Or you could play, like, 2 campaign levels.
Right.
You know, there are good games that you can still play. So, like, I guess I just don't get the logic here. Like, why?
Well, it just comes back to the fact of, like, in today's world, I'm going to sound like a boomer here, but in the participation trophy world we live in, everyone thinks they deserve, like, everything, right? It's like, well, I get to experience this thing. I get to do that. I get to do this. I deserve to have this. And it's kind of leaked over into our expectations of other stuff, too, where, like, if someone gets busy by being a father, for example, they have become so used to just getting whatever they want that they cannot possibly fathom the fact that, hey, maybe playing Elden Ring is not for you if you're not willing to put in the dedication and the hard work to actually play through the game.
Because
it's hard.
Well, also, isn't this game, like, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe there's, like, some grand plot going on here, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but have you heard of, like, some kind of, like, secret society that's going to go around and destroy every copy of Elden Ring, physical and digital, by the time this guy's kid is, like, 4?
Yeah.
Okay, because that
is a thing, actually.
I didn't know that existed. Okay, so then I agree with him. Because I was going to say, otherwise, like, why can't he just play this game in a couple of years when he has more time?
Because apparently he wants to experience the hype of this game right now.
Now, something you don't know about me,
level up.
I want to take martial arts eventually.
Right.
I would like to learn... Now, I know I'm probably going to have to get in on it in the next few years, otherwise I'm going to be too old.
Also, you're not too old. My aunt... started... No.
Oh, so you do have a hot one.
No. My aunt was probably 55 when she started martial arts training, and she's been doing it for like 6 years now.
Okay.
And she's gotten like a few belts, so...
That's cool.
You don't have, it's not like there's an age limit.
I'd like to just start in my early 30s at the latest.
Right.
I do get what that guy was saying, but like... You know, one thing that a lot of people do before having kids, this is going to sound really douchey, okay? Mm-hmm. I understand I don't have kids.
Right.
Is they think about, like, does that matter to them, or do other things matter more?
Right.
And this is a legitimate thing. This is also something that people think about when going into work. So, in a perfect world, no job would make you work 60 hours, 70 hours a week, right?
Right.
But people should consider when they're going into a field like that, do you really want to go into that field when it is an expectation almost?
Right.
Or do you want to do something else because you value... I'm not saying it facetiously, but you value other things more and you want to do those things instead.
Right.
You know, those are things that you have to think about when making decisions on anything. And I think the kid thing is the same. Like, I'm not saying don't have children, but I'm just saying if you want to be, like, hardcore, like, the Dungeons and Dragons master who goes, like, every single night to the comic shop to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
You're not going to do that if you have a kid.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, you can, but you'd be a pretty poor father.
Right, and, yeah, I mean, unless you, like... are constantly getting, like, a nanny or something like those people. Because there are people who are very rich who have other people watch their kids a lot, too. Like, I don't think Elon Musk is a bad father because he has people who help take care of his kids.
Right, no.
But he has those resources. You don't.
Right.
Life's not fair. I'm sorry. It's just not. I would also love to own, like, a Rolls Royce, just to have one. I'm never going to buy one.
Right.
Should they be $20 because I'm poor?
Yeah, I think so.
It just is dumb to me.
It's not fair.
It's not fair, and I get that, but like distribution of resources has never been fair. If we're talking about like a real problem, like I can't afford to eat, okay, that's a real problem. Like we need to fix that. I don't think people should die from that.
Right.
But if our problem is I chose to have a family, now I don't have time for Elden Ring right now, like this is not a problem. This was your life decision. Why are you blaming others for your choices?
Right. And also, not only that, but why do we have to, like, not handicap the game, but...
Whoa.
Why do we have to specifically add in new features to alter the gaming experience so that you can be pleased? You know? Like, I don't get it. Like, why?
Right, again, accessibility for, like, disability, I get it. Like, colorblind mode.
Yeah,
That should be in every game.
Yeah,
like,
fine.
colorblind mode, or, like,
You can just flip the switch.
Yeah, or another good example of that is, like, you are deaf, or hearing impaired, where, like, you're almost deaf, and they add in a mode where you can see, like, a little flicker on the screen when there's a noise.
Right.
They have that in, like, Fortnite.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff should be in games. Mm-hmm. I genuinely think that unless you're a small indie developer who can't afford it, you should be putting that shit in your games. Those people didn't choose to be hearing impaired. Those people didn't choose to be visually impaired or to have color blindness or whatever.
Maybe some of them did. Maybe some of them chose to donate their eyeballs to, like, someone else.
Well, then you should have a thing that scans the person so that if they did choose it, they can't play the game.
God, okay.
Because otherwise that's privilege that you chose. You got to choose to be that instead of, like, just being that.
Yep.
No, but, like, it's one of those things where your life choices are very different than things that are done to you, like you're born a certain way or whatever.
Right.
Like, that's different. And there are people, like, what about someone with severe Down syndrome? I'm not making fun of them. Should they make this game so that that person can play it?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's not even this game anymore, and that's not to be mean to them.
Right.
It's just that it's an activity that, I don't know. I don't really know how to say it, because it does sound mean. But it's an activity that was not designed for them. Like, are you going to have them go trap shooting with a shotgun?
Right.
No, probably not.
Right.
Maybe there's someone who can. Like, maybe there is someone who's like a high-functioning Down syndrome person.
Right. Who's
like the world's best shotgunner. I don't know. But, like, generally that's not going to be a thing.
Right.
It's just not. Just like they didn't design Braille books to be accessible to me.
Right.
I could go learn Braille, but it's designed for someone who can't see. All of these things piss me off because, like, it's a sense of entitlement to me, where it's like, I need to be the center of everything. Everyone needs to make everything for me.
Right. Well, yeah, and it just comes back to, like, you can't accept that maybe that isn't for you. If you don't want to take the time to fight a hard boss in Elden Ring, like, if that's too difficult for you, then don't play Elden Ring. Go play Super Mario Odyssey. It's a great game. You could play it at your own pace.
Or Breath of the Wild. You can also play it at your own pace. Breath of the Wild is so much easier than this.
Yeah.
Like, and it's got hard parts, so you're not going to feel like a child. Like,
right.
It doesn't hold your hand and be like, hey, if you can beat this game, it's because you're an idiot. Right. Like, it still has its difficulty, but it's not this.
Right.
Or better yet, literally another idea for that guy, go back and play Dark Souls. Or Demon's Souls. It has like a well laid out world with bonfires and archstones and other stuff where you can hit stopping points fairly frequently, level up, I would honestly say better than in this game because there's more creatures around that help you level up easier.
Right.
And, still has thriving communities online. Like, people in the Dark Souls subreddits and stuff, they are very engaged.
Right.
And they will help you, by the way. Because these are people that love Dark Souls.
And they just want to play it.
And they just want to help other people enjoy the game. They will help you enjoy it. Why don't you go back and play a smaller experience like that that's probably a third of the size of this? Can you tell you opened a can of worms by bringing this up?
I did, but it also kind of was a can of worms for me, too. Like, I was reading this, like,
come on.
Are you kidding me? I'm just annoyed with the entitlement attitude of this, you know? Like, for me, I've never understood this argument because my entire life I've always understood if I'm going to play a video game, I kind of just know what the game is. You know, like, for example, if I'm going to sit down and play Red Dead Redemption 2, I should probably not expect me to be done with the game in a day. It's just a long game.
Right, and you still plan to play games and hang out with people and stuff when you have a kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know that there's going to be certain things you probably don't want to start in the first year of your kid's life.
Right.
Like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, I'm not going to start like Skyrim when my kid is like a day old. You know, because it's
just
like
not smart.
Yeah, it's like this game's going to take up a lot of my time. I'll play it in a year or something. I don't know.
Right.
Like, I'm not, it's like, I don't know. I guess I don't get this argument. Like, sure, you can't play games that often. Fine. That sucks. I get it. I get why you're busy. But...
And that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's good that you had a kid, by the way. Like, I'm not shitting on the guy for having a kid.
Right.
I'm just saying if that was the most important thing to you was, I need to be able to play Elden Ring, then why'd you have that kid?
Right.
That's what I was saying. Like, it's timing of your own life. Like,
right. Well, and also just the other thing is, like, I get you want to be in on the hype, because you see it everywhere.
Although hype doesn't matter. Thank you. We're only playing this because we thought people would be interested earlier on.
Right.
Like, you and I are not hype people.
I'm in the hype house personally, but
the hype house?
But it's like, I get you want to be in on the hype and whatnot, but why can't you just play the game later?
Right.
Like, you can say, well, the game requires a lot of attention and stuff. Fine.
Play it when you can give it that attention.
Play the game in a year from now.
Right.
Play it in 2 years from now. Go buy a physical copy, put it on your shelf. It's not going anywhere.
Right, no one can take it from you.
The only way you're losing that game is if you throw it away or something. Or
right.
someone steals your copy of Elden Ring or something.
Then you could buy another one.
Right.
I mean, you work a job, clearly, so you must have money to buy the game.
Right.
You just don't have time to play it.
Right.
You know, like, I've always wanted... Secretly, I've always been interested in, and I probably will never play it, but I've always been interested in tabletop games like Dungeons and Dragons, just because I'm like, people love this thing.
Yeah.
What's so cool about this thing?
Right.
I'd love to, like, try it out and play it, but I don't,
I have a good example for this when you're done.
when I'm done talking?
Yeah.
I do still want to play Warhammer. Like, Warhammer 40K.
Yeah, that seems really fun.
That's something I want to play. But do you know how I want to play it? I want to actually buy a few armies worth of pieces, set up a room for board games when this house is probably mine or I get a different house.
Wow.
Well, my mom said that she would probably sell this house to me.
Are you going to, like, kill your mom?
Yeah, dead.
The house?
Gone. Get out. We're going to reenact Get Out without the racism. It's just me kicking my mom out.
Awesome.
No, so when I have, like, more room, I just want to make a board game room.
Yeah.
And I want to buy a few armies worth of, like, factions for Warhammer.
Right.
And legitimately have, like, you over. Or someone else over.
I want to play Warhammer with
I know
you.
you'd play it with me.
I'm, like, a really big nerd. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I know you would. Or play it with Jill or something like that. Like, I am not a social guy that wants to go hang out with people I don't know and play Warhammer.
Right.
I know they're probably nice. I have social anxiety issues. I have depression issues. I have things that make it hard for me, like, legitimately that make it hard for me to make new friends and want to talk to people because I just have issues.
Right.
I don't expect them to change the game around so I can play it because of those issues. I just know, like, okay, well, I don't really want to play it with a bunch of random people because that makes me uncomfortable and it's just not something I want to do.
Right.
So if I want to play Warhammer, I can play the PC games and play it on my own. I can play the console games and play it on my own. Or I can set up a board game room type thing and play it with people I know and like. And that's how I can play Warhammer. That's it. Otherwise, I could get over my problems and go hang out with random people. But that's probably not going to happen.
Right.
And I don't expect them to change the game because of me. I just don't.
Right.
I understand it's a social experience game, and I'm not a very social person. And that's my loss, you know?
Right.
That's not their loss or the game's loss. It's me. And that's fine. That's just who I am. That's what bothers me about all this, is I feel like people expect everything to change for them, but I don't. You know, like, I just want things to be good.
Right. Well, and you actually know and understand what the thing is. And you know that if you want to experience that thing in the way, you have to probably change who you are. If you wanted to do that.
Right.
You know, like you said with Warhammer, you're not, you know, you're not expecting them to change the game. It's, if I want to play Warhammer, either I have to modify... Whoa, this says a lot to him. Either I have to modify how you are, or you can play it just with me or something.
Yeah. And that's... I know, I understand that sucks. Like, someone is probably going to think, like, oh, that's non-empathetic. No, it's not. But, like, there are things in life that are just designed for certain types of people.
Right.
You know, like, blind dinner dates to meet people, you know, where they, like, have you go out and they have you go on a date with, like, 10 people and talk to them.
That's
and then,
not for me.
and then move on to the next table.
Yeah.
That was not for me, but they shouldn't redesign that practice. It clearly helps people.
Right.
I tried a different way.
And there are people that actually enjoy it.
Yeah, and I tried a different way of meeting someone and I'm happily married.
Right.
So... I feel like you can do this for, like, anything where you, like, go through it 100 times and you're like, oh, well, you know, all of these things should change. And it's like, no, maybe you should change.
Right.
Or just do something else. You know,
Yep.
I also have really bad chronic pain. And so PC gaming with a mouse where I have to click 500 times isn't for me. But I literally don't expect them to revamp League of Legends so I can play it.
Right.
It's just League of Legends is not for me because it hurts my hand. That sucks.
There you go.
There's 5 billion other games I can play. Look, I'm playing one right now.
Right.
Fun. Here you go. Okay, I'm going to stop ranting.
Well, I was just going to say my example was...
No one cares.
Okay.
Shut up from your place of privilege.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
My example was the game World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I honestly think I would love World of Warcraft.
I think
I would really get into it.
Can you level up?
I think I would really get into World of Warcraft. You know I'm not going to start? World of Warcraft. Let's do Vigor.
All right. Yeah, we should get that to 20.
Yeah. I'm not going to start World of Warcraft because I know, hey, wait a minute, this is probably going to consume all my time.
Yeah.
I'd rather, instead of just playing World of Warcraft, I'd rather literally play 10 other games.
Right. You'd also really like RuneScape, and you'd really like Final Fantasy 14. Those are all those are all big MMO games. But
I think I would really get into them.
It takes up a ton of your time.
Yeah.
And even a game like League, I don't want to play, and neither do you. Maybe if you hadn't had that negative experience with your roommate, it would be something that you would have found at some point and liked occasionally playing. But as is, it's just not for you, and you don't expect them to change anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Because people clearly love the game, so it's doing something right.
Right. Yeah, I'm not expecting them to be like, yeah, well, let's make a version of this game that you don't have to spend 10 hours a day on.
You know what else? I have another example of something that is not for us, but I guarantee we would both love. Civil War reenacting.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if either of us is social enough to want to go do that.
I mean, yeah, I think it would be a blast.
Yeah.
Only if I get to play on the Confederates.
You mean the winning side?
Yeah, actually. But yeah, I think it would be a blast. But yeah, I'm like not wanting to do that.